Okay, everyone. Recently, someone re-edited Star Wars The Last Jedi into a 46-minute recut that's causing a bit of controversy. This anonymous editor and troll removed massive sections of the film, including cutting out a lot of the female characters, calling it his defeminized fan edit. He also removed and reordered a ton of sequences that just make this recut totally incomprehensible. It's hard to see how this person even considered himself a fan at all. Director Rian Johnson and several of the film's cast members simply responded by tweeting endless laughter and laugh emojis, which is probably the best way to respond to this, guys, because clearly this editor is just a troll trying to rile people up.
Thank you for saying that, because that needs to be put out there. This dude's just doing it so that we talk about him. Like,
right.
He's just wants a rise out of people. Do you believe that he actually
No.
Yeah, okay.
I think on some level he has to love Star Wars in order to spend the time to re-edit it.
It sounds very protective. It sounds like it's an ownership. This is my Star Wars, and you didn't do my Star Wars how I would have done it, so I'm going to do it now.
Yeah, I'm going to do it, and rather than just show it to my friends, I'm going to release it out there just to see how people react and what headlines I'll get on Think Piece blogs.
It would have taken a lot of time and effort, so to spend all that time and just show his friends, what a waste. Like, right. I get it.
Well, having watched it, unfortunately, I can.
You watched it?
I did. I sped through parts of it, but I can honestly tell you that was just a huge waste of 46 minutes, guys. It just made The Last Jedi, where whatever you didn't like about The Last Jedi, it just made it worse, and it ruined things you did like about it. But I thought I'd jump on this grenade for everyone and explain what the big changes were, some of which are just laughably weird and awful.
Thanks for taking one for the team, by the way.
I'm going to go through just my top 5 most ridiculous ones. Okay, in the scene where Kylo and Leia connect via the Force during the battle, and Kylo decides to hold off.
Yes.
In this recut, Kylo just immediately blasts the bridge and kills his mom. Doesn't even think about it. And in this version, this actually kills Leia. There's a long shot of her frozen face, I guess as a tribute to Carrie Fisher, but she never comes back into the movie.
So Carrie Fisher is not a woman.
Yeah, she's just an object that you want to just stare at. I don't know. It's so ridiculous. Okay. Also, strangely, Rey's cave mirror scene was left in its entirety, but her forced timing with Kylo was cut, along with Luke and Kylo's conflicting accounts of what went down between them, and the whole Yoda scene, all cut. So
Yoda is actually a woman.
Oh.
Right. Yeah.
No one's been able to say otherwise.
Wasn't there a female Yoda in the prequels?
Yeah, on the Jedi Council.
Yes, there was.
Yeah.
Because I know that.
Yeah.
It's so...
Yaddle.
Yeah.
Yaddle.
Oh, that's such a stupid
Yaddle. I just don't get why you would keep some of this weird mythology stuff, but then you'd be annoyed by some of it to not get... I don't know, it's just all over the place in terms of what this guy's agenda was. Okay, all the stuff on Cantabite and Laura Dern's character, Holdo, were removed.
Don't hate half of that.
No.
Right. Yeah, some of it, I get where he's coming on some of that. But this Joker made it look like Poe Dameron was the one who kamikazed the Radis into the supremacy, even though in this cut, Poe Dameron shows up later in the Battle of Crate.
That
somehow.
doesn't matter. That is logic that you were trying to use. How dare you?
It was ridiculous. So he just took shots of Poe in like the pilot's seat, and then took the wide shot of it, hyper speeding into the supremacy, and then like later Poe just shows up, no questions. Yeah. Doesn't make sense. Now when Kylo,
he's a Force ghost.
Yeah, he's
got a new Jedi power, which made him materialize in the flesh and really be there.
Yeah.
Or maybe he just chucked a Luke. We don't know.
Yeah. Or
I've got answers though for your questions.
When Kylo skewers Snoke, this is my favorite. When he kills Snoke with a lightsaber, this guy did some really goofy effect to make Snoke fade away, like cross dissolve, with really bad repurposed audio of Snoke saying and laughing, "Haha, you fool!" So it's just so weird. Like, wait, what just happened? And then in the wide shot of them fighting, you see like Snoke's severed corpse there, but I guess he like Obi-Wan'd away from it.
Yeah.
I don't really know what he was going for there. It's really
just
stupid.
His material body. He's gone to another plane.
Right. And then finally, Luke's appearance on Crate at the end isn't forced projection in this re-edit. It's actually Luke. There's no Leia reunion because remember, she's dead. Luke just shows up winking at 3PO and then walks out to face the First Order. The walkers fire on him and then immediately dies. There's no battle with Kylo. The movie pretty much ends shortly.
That's pretty funny.
I've got this. I've come to save the day.
Right. Yeah. So that's why I think this is kind of a troll. And guys, there are a lot of ways to talk about it. I kind of don't want to give this guy the pleasure of being offended politically, which is probably what he wants on some level. But I do think this brings up an interesting conversation about fan edits in general. This isn't the first time someone has re-edited Star Wars movies trying to like fix perceived shortcomings. In 2012, Topher Grace, the actor, edited the prequels into one 85-minute movie that he showed to friends at a private screening, and they all said it was pretty good. It begins with the Darth Maul duel from Phantom Menace, and mostly just sticks to Anakin's journey to become Vader after that, leaving out the Trade Federation and Clone War political stuff.
I have to agree with his edit. It's so well done. We never needed a 9-year-old Annie. We didn't need that whole exposition. It could have been done in a shot, and then boom, straight to the good juicy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, as a screenwriter myself, I kind of just want to let the creator's work stand on its own, like whether I like it or not. Like, who knows how our attitudes will change over the years, right? Like, I know I've enjoyed Revenge of the Sith more and more over the years after initially, like, kind of,
Have you rewatched it? Or you've just thought about it a lot.
I just thought about it. No, I've rewatched it a couple times, and I'm like, you know what? There's parts of this that are way better than parts of Return of the Jedi. I know, yell at me on Twitter.
That's because of Ewan McGregor.
Right. Ewan McGregor's great. Natalie Portman's great. The writing's a little goofy, but the directing of the actors is a little goofy. But anyway, I want to know what you guys think. Like, is it ever justified to create a fan edit of Star Wars movies, or any movie for that matter?
I mean, when it comes to justified, it's just fans, in most cases, celebrating something.
Yeah.
In other cases, they think they can fix it. What we've been talking about for the majority of this conversation is clearly done just to be a troll.
Spitefully,
and if you want to do that, that's fine, because sometimes that's the funniest. Like, I saw a fan edit of Harry Potter where it's on the train in the first movie, and his glasses are broken, and Hermione's gonna be like, "Oh, I know a spell, I can fix that. Avada Kedavra," and then credits roll and it's done, and it's like, that's so funny. And so I think it just depends.
Yeah, for parody or for it to be a joke there's a re-edit of a scene in the Deathly Hallows final movie where like Voldemort has that weird hug of Malfoy, and it's like, "Oh, Draco," and just like they keep looping it, so he's just hugging him. And just cut to Draco's parents like, should we intervene here?
Should we do
The
something?
Dark Lord wants what he wants.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you.
No, there's a time and a place, and I think the most exciting part is when there's like a celebration of it. There's plenty of fan edits of trailers out there where they're like, "Oh, I made Crisis DC versus Marvel," and I always watch them, and I'm like, you know what? Overall, like, you guys took the time to sit there and cut out all these characters in these scenes and put them together. For the most part, it works, and I appreciate what you did. Like, it's for the most part, it's harmless. For the most part, whatever. Yeah.
I find it's under the same umbrella as people that want to sew costumes to replicate a character. Those who want to draw fan art. It's kind of making content from an already established piece of content, really. But again, like all things on the internet, just because you have freedom of speech doesn't mean it's freedom to be an asshole.
But
it's his time. If he wanted to do that, good on him. That's how he's decided to use his time. And, it spurs sometimes a great discussion, and usually, in this case, just a goddamn eye roll.
Yeah, right? Like, I think if your attitude going in to do a fan edit is, like Sam said, to celebrate it, or, to make a new piece of content that is just enjoying it, great. If you're going in to, like, fix things, it's like, there's so many other things in the world that you can fix, or you can create new content that speaks your... horribly cynical and backwards point of view, but anyway, that's just me.
Instead of fan editing, maybe just do a fan film.
Do a fan film.
You did a Star Wars 360 thing,
and
it's a celebration of Star Wars,
and it's a completely different character that we've never seen before. We wrote an original piece in the Star Wars universe.
There you go.
That sounds great.
Star Wars 360,
and even you can do something that has like almost an academic analytical take on it, right? Like, I saw someone put on Vimeo a recut of the original Alien and Prometheus, and Prometheus kind of had, some people who weren't crazy about it, but they called it Derelict, and they took pieces of both films, they put it all in black and white. It looked gorgeous, and they used it to tell these parallel timelines of like Ripley's character and then the lead character whose name I don't remember in Prometheus.
It was in the
I don't remember.
Numi Rapace's character. Yeah. They ended up like making something new out of both films and showed how both of these characters were in similar situations, and it didn't feel like it was being cynical toward Prometheus. It just showed like, hey, there are things about this movie that are still really good, because notice how you loved them when they were an alien, and what if there was just there's these historical reverberations in the way that the arrogance of these scientists and assuming that they're in control of nature. I loved it. They had to take it down because Warner Brothers like, you can't do that.
This is really good.
Yeah, it's a little too good.
Sweat.
But in that case, I think there are examples. If you really put in the time and you have an attitude of let's try to like find what really worked about these and make something new out of it. Yeah, fan edits could be great.
Have you seen the one where if you do want a good fan fan edit that's in the Star Wars universe, and to really appreciate the genius level of vision that George Lucas did have. Someone has decided to edit parts of the original trilogy alongside the prequels. And
is it the
remember like the shot for shot? It all made sense. Like it was a direct sort of parallel in some particular moments,
or like reverse, but in a mirror way. It mirrored each other.
Yeah,
and it made you appreciate the prequels a lot more.
Yeah.
Also, just to do a little plug, if I may, my co-host DJ for Only Stupid Answers, he did a pitch for the prequels in this really cool way where it was like Seven Samurai and Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon are like hired Jedi that can come out and like help protect you, and it like had Jango Fett and like had all. It was his idea for the prequels made me excited and made me want to go watch, but I'm not gonna see what he just told me.
Yeah.
But as a celebration of fan edits and fan like changes, he did a good job. So Only Stupid Answers if you want to go listen to it. So it was a fun episode. Yeah.
Well, let us know your thoughts about this fan edit in the comments and tweet us directly. And as a reminder, just follow and subscribe to New Rockstars for more in-depth breakdowns and analysis of Star Wars. Thanks, everybody.